Yes, we are live here with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman in the studio with your host, Chancellor Brewington. Chancellor, what is brewing today?
Man, a lot's brewing today, man. We had college football yesterday, of course. College football playoffs. Notre Dame gets it done. And it was, you look at halftime, you're like, oh, my goodness. And then, obviously, we got some news that we talked about yesterday of Carson Beck going in the portal, and he found a landing spot, and it was one of the three we talked about in Miami, and we'll talk through that. And there's a prospect in the one of the All-American games, Cortez Mills. Man, he looks really good. He looks real polished as a receiver, and it kind of sparks the question. Dana Holgrenson talked about this. But how many receivers does Nebraska need to be efficient in this air raid offense? And I think Holgrenson has mentioned getting comfortable around that 5-6 mark. So we'll dive into that a little bit. But Bach, how you doing, man? Let's check in on you, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not doing too bad. I certainly enjoyed the game last night. Looking forward to the game tonight, and then of course Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a great time to be a football fan. We got 5 straight days of win or go home football.
Yeah. So what was your overall thoughts about last night's game? Because obviously, you're looking at it, and I believe Penn State, was up 10-0, 10-3 at halftime, right?
Yeah, and 10-0 before that. Yeah. They had to scramble to get 3 at the end.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts? Are you happy with the outcome? Because I predicted I wanted Notre Dame to win, of course, because I think the story is cool. You lose to Northern Illinois, then you come back and end up winning it all. I think Notre Dame's going to win it all. That's just my personal opinion. I think they're on fire. But what did you think last night?
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun. Again, for all the complaints that we might have about the college football playoff, and maybe they're going to have to tweak it or change this or that, to get Notre Dame and Penn State with a championship game on the line is incredible. I mean, those are two of your blue blood programs. Again, if there are certain folks out there that would say there are 8 blue blood programs, right, and Penn State is right on the outside of that. But I think Penn State's the closest of any that maybe not be in there to be considered a blue blood. But in any case, just 2 really historic programs that haven't won a championship in a long time. Throw in the fact that both of their coaches, it was a chance to have the first black coach for a championship game. That's very cool. So there was just all sorts of history on the line. Of course, the first playoff game, kind of Final Four set here with the 12-team playoff, and the game went accordingly. It was a fun game. Some people don't like less scoring, so 10-3 might not be the best first half for some folks. I like physical football. Right. I like points mattering, and so every kind of possession felt big there. So I kind of like that. But then the scoring kind of took off later on in the game, and it just kind of did feel like one of those games like whoever is going to have the ball last. Though I will say, it seemed like Penn State's offense moved the ball a little bit with more ease than with Notre Dame's did. But Notre Dame got the key interception with 33 seconds to go, set up a game-winning field goal, and there you have it.
Okay, so it sparks the question, of course. Let's say Notre Dame wins this next one, right? Wins it all. Do you think people are going to be calling for Notre Dame to get in a conference? Is that going to be? Do you think people are going to call for that? Because me personally, I would like to see them, be in either the SEC or the Big. Probably SEC. Maybe Big 10. Big 12. They'd probably be one of the top dogs in there, I would say. But do you think people are going to call for Notre Dame to get out the independent and maybe join one of these conferences? Because I think it's kind of a layup for them. Strength of schedule wise. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, with the current format, they're not going to get a first round bye because you have to be a conference champion. Now they're going to kind of go in and look at that this offseason. I think they're going to change that. So that'll be interesting. I think there's going to forever be people calling for Notre Dame to get into a conference. I think even James Franklin was saying that pregame, leading up to this game, that it should be fair for everybody and everybody should be in a conference. But again, if we're being honest, this thing just isn't the part of the imbalance in the playoff as it is that it's not built the same. Like the SEC and the Big 10 are different than joining the Big 12 or the ACC. And for them on their side of it, for going to the college football playoff championship game, they get $20 million. For whoever makes it on the other side, they split their $20 million worth of conference. So,
right.
so it always makes sense financially for Notre Dame to stay independent. And that's why it's going to be hard until that changes. It's going to be hard to get them to go to a conference.
So that goes to the program. So what do you think the revenue split is to the players? Is that all? I mean, you're not obviously not going to get all of it to the players. I wonder what because you think about like NFL playoffs, each player gets a playoff check, right? You get cut a check, all that good stuff. And obviously if you make it to the Super Bowl, that check is, larger than just, first round, second round, all that good stuff. I wonder what the players get, because that now this is now I think you dive into how much does a team get for a regular bowl game, right? Like how much do you get to go play in the Pinstripe Bowl?
Yeah.
Was it like, if it's 20 million, do you get, 750 or whatever that is? What's the split between program, coach, and player? I think now everything, like, there's so much eyes, and like, obviously there's a bunch of awareness on the situation of like, NCAA paying players and this and this. I think everything now is like under kind of the microscope. I think everything will get examined here soon. So it's just an interesting point of like, what do they get, and I wonder what the players are going to get as well.
Well, and yeah, specifically when they move to kind of paying from in-house, right? We're still kind of under this NIL deal, NIL rules the world type of situation until we get into the calendar year of next year. I think before, at some point the judge has to kind of sign the bill to bring it in-house, and there are teams everywhere planning for it. I mean, they're going to, but I don't know if yet any of this is supposed to, I suppose, on paper go back to the players, but certainly when this time comes around next year, that is a very interesting,
because now you're an employee technically,
right?
And so now, like, if the business is making money, I mean, you are part of the company, so you get and especially you are kind of the one bringing in the revenue. On the player perspective, or on the player talk, Carson Beck signing to Miami. Obviously Miami, high-powered offense this past year, led by Cam Ward. He did phenomenal things, and he was the guy there. He was the ultra pocket, sit back there and throw 45 times a game. Now, is Carson Beck going to do that for him? No, I don't believe so. But still does, obviously has arm talent. Obviously, I would say has arm strength. I was thinking maybe we would get Quinn Ewers to go to Miami, and maybe that happened after season. Obviously, that discussion's still up in the air, depending on how tonight goes. That's, I believe, 6 p.m. How this Ohio State-Texas game goes. And then obviously if they win that, and how he plays in the next one. Because like we talked about yesterday, if Quinn Ewers plays good, I know I'm talking about good, this game and the next game, I think it's chuck up the deuce sign, you go and enter your name, right? Because he's not in the same situation as Carson Beck. Carson Beck, just grade-wise, was probably way lower than Quinn Ewers, middle of the season or before the season. Now with Quinn Ewers, he goes and plays 2 good games. I think, you put your name in there and you leave. But if you play all right, which usually out of Quinn Ewers you get, like a 250-yard game, couple touchdowns, maybe a pick, and that's usually the overall average game, right? I think now it's like you're not gonna go back to Ohio State if you're Quinn Ewers. Thought he was gonna go to Miami. I think Oregon is really like probably going to be the landing spot for him. I know it's going to be, just like the list for Carson Beck, after season, if Quinn Ewers decides to do whatever, I think Ohio State's probably going to pull out this game and win this one. But I think Oregon would be a really good spot for Quinn Ewers, obviously implying that he would hit the transfer portal.
Yeah. It's interesting to see where he falls and where all that kind of plays out. It's kind of funny and to track for a guy that may lead his team to a national title. You'd think it'd be pretty hard for him to move on anywhere else. But again, I mean, it's college football these days. And for Miami particularly, this is an interesting pickup for Mario Cristobal, who when he went to Miami, everybody just kind of said, okay, Miami's back. They're going to be great. And it took a few years. They went 5-7 and then 7-6. And then this year went 10-3. By the way, 5-7, 7-6. That sounds familiar, right? For your first 2 years, they did make that jump. They went to 10-3 this past year. But how much of that was Cam Ward winning 45-40 shootouts? And can that be continued with with Carson Beck, or is the program going to take a step back, even though they do get Carson Beck?
Yeah, those Cam Warren battles. I mean, when you look at like just throughout the whole year, I mean, even I believe it was the Cal game, and I believe there was there a Boston College one, or no, VTech,
Yeah, I think
the VTech earlier in the year. There was just a bunch of shootouts or I would say too close of games with average teams, and you just never really got your feel. You never really got your feel on like who people running out there. Hold on, I don't like when people run. Hold on. Anyways, you just never know exactly like, how good a team is when there's a bunch of like close games going on, right? And obviously the preseason rankings is a whole, that's a whole conversation in itself. You get ranked, you start off ranked top 10 and you have a close game with Cal, close game with VTech, and you're still top 10 when really you're probably just on the edge of a top 25 team, just talent wise, right? And I think Nebraska probably experienced some of that. I would say you're 4-1, 5-1. If Nebraska would have been ranked preseason anywhere around, from 25 to 30, like they probably would have been a top 25 team, right? So with that same philosophy with Miami, you kind of get the little nudge in there and maybe get slotted in as a better team than they really are. But Cam Ward has some great battles. Good battle with Louisville. Louisville had a really good quarterback this year, Tyler Shuck. He's in the Reese's Bowl. Have to give him a shout out. That was my high school quarterback. So, but no, like there's obviously some landing places for a bunch of quarterbacks, and we kind of talked about this that kind of a new era is emerging right now, and I think Dylan Raiola could lead the ship in the nation, not only Nebraska, but a guy where he had I would say, for a freshman, a good season, right? For a true freshman, a really good season. For an overall quarterback, a okay season, right? And just being frank, being honest, look at numbers, look at the tape. But then you look at, the freshman to sophomore progression, and, you can anticipate with, the additions in the O-line, hopefully get a couple more. But the additions in the receiver room, you're bringing in a young true freshman that can play. You already got a true freshman that will be a sophomore. You bring in 3 receivers, 2 from Kentucky, 1 from Cal. 2 of them are established. Danke and Isaiah Hunt are established receivers. And then, obviously the tight end position is a question mark, but you upgrade the offense. Like you upgrade the offense, you upgrade the play caller. So you can only anticipate him to have a good year. And I think guys along with him, that will be leading the way is South Carolina has a really good young quarterback who played some really good games this year. Special talent, especially like on the ground. You can throw the ball, of course, but on the ground. And then, Nico from Tennessee, even Sam Leavitt out of ASU. Like, I think that's kind of the new wave of college quarterbacks, and Arch Manning and maybe Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck, are the big dogs coming up, and that's kind of weird to see. It's always weird when you see transitions. You see it in the NBA now, right? Anthony Edwards about to be the face of the league. Like that's kind of strange, but it's always necessary, man. There's a season for everything.
Yeah, Father Time always has this time, right? So you got to move around. Although, in college football, we're seeing guys being able to stick around a little longer, but it's still at some point your eligibility will run up. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with more with What's Brewington with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Tick.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
The Adam Carricker Show. That is what the 12-team playoff does. It makes the end of the regular season more exciting until we realize, hey, the teams that are 10 through 12 are just going to get killed. So getting in doesn't really matter. All that doesn't matter is Oregon-Ohio State regular season. Matchup doesn't matter. Ohio State-Michigan, that rivalry's now been devalued. And to me, that's what I see.
Live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 12 to 1 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
We are back here on What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. I'm Jake Buckman in the studio alongside your host, Chancellor Brewington. And we got through the first game, Penn State and Notre Dame. What a big win that was for the proud program of Notre Dame. Maybe the blue blood, if you could argue, in college football. Tonight, we've got another round of action between Texas and Ohio State. Chancellor, what are you looking forward to the most between this matchup of blue bloods for a college football championship appearance on the line?
Yeah, I don't want to make something that isn't there, but Quinn Ewers did, start off at Ohio State, so there's got to be something. I know as just a competitor or just as an individual, I mean, you got to feel some type of like, man, I I'm gonna win this game, right? And if you're Ohio State, Will Howard there, and you got some great talent, Jeremiah Smith and company. I mean, now's the opportunity, man, for Ohio State to say, we beat the number one team, yes, but this is who we are, man. This is who we are. We fluked earlier in the year. We're supposed to be the number one team. We're supposed to be the top dog in the nation. And also, Ohio State, I would say, has one of the best, if not the best defense. Georgia's obviously out, so still in, out of Notre Dame, Texas, and obviously Ohio State. I think Ohio State has the best defense. Offensively, if they can stay consistent and Will Howard can do what he does and get the ball to his playmakers on the outside, and use their tight end the way they do and all that good stuff, I think Ohio State might run with it. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think fourth quarter, I think Ohio State can run with it. And I think for the, I would say the what's the word, legacy, or for the how big the game is, I would say Ohio State Notre Dame would just be off the charts. Like there's history there. There's those are two prestigious. I know, of course, Texas is prestigious, but it just hits different. Ohio State and Notre Dame. I would like that. That's what I'm predicting. If I was a betting man, I'd obviously go with Ohio State. I just think, defensively, I think they can take advantage of the lapses in Texas offense and take advantage of Quinn Ewers. I mean, take some things out of that Georgia-Texas game where you're going after the quarterback, where you're, playing really aggressive and causing Quinn Ewers to make some, harsh decisions. And, if you can match up on the outside and send pressure, obviously that's a DC's dream. But if you can do that, like Ohio State's been doing and did against Oregon and did against all these teams to get here, man, I think Ohio State can get this one.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's got to be the favorite in this one as well. It's kind of been an interesting journey as we watch these teams too play 16, 17 games a year. It can be a battle of attrition. Notre Dame had some guys that weren't playing a whole lot going in on that offensive line, and Texas started the year with a lot of running back injuries. They were still able to get 1,000-yard back, but they just don't feel like they pack maybe quite the punch or the explosion that Ohio State offense does. So I got to figure Ohio State is considered the favorite here, and figure they can win this one. Would it be how bad of a look would it be for the Big Ten to have the chance to have an all Big Ten final, but then get shut out, if Texas does win tonight and you finish with Texas Notre Dame?
Yeah, that'd be, I mean, obviously you kind of want not really selfishly, but you want Ohio State to win and say, we went, toe to toe with them, held them. I believe we were tied. It was 14-14 the whole up until like the 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Nebraska Ohio State game. So, I mean, you can say, like we went toe to toe with them and, that whole deal. It's like the 21 Nebraska team with the Michigan game. Like, you say, yeah, I went toe to toe with them. And I mean, I didn't do that. I mean, but as a fan, you're, at the bar one night and whatever.
Closer,
yeah, you can have some fun with it, of course. But I think the Big Ten, being, first of all, two Big Ten teams being in the Final Four, I believe 4 getting there. You had Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, and who's the fourth one? Indiana. Indiana.
Into the playoffs.
Yeah, into the playoffs. So you got Indiana too. So, I mean, Rule predicted it. Rule talked about this. He's, and what's his name? Paul Fineman. I mean, had a field day with it, right?
Yeah.
And so, he was right. He was right. 4 teams. And so I think the Big Ten, after this year, if not already, should get the credit they deserve for producing, and contributing to college football, right? I think when you think of college football, sometimes you think of the SEC, you think of, the Bamas, you think of all these teams, but the tide shifts, it shifts every 4 to 5 years. And I think, Michigan had its chance, right? And I think Michigan still is kind of will be recovering for the next couple of years after the Harbaugh situation. Obviously him leaving to the NFL, but there's a void here, right? You think you're thinking it's going to be Oregon is going to come in and take Michigan's throne, but Now, I mean, Notre Dame comes out of nowhere, and Ohio State still has a chance. I think they're probably the most well-rounded team out of 3 so far, and especially over Texas. So it's always good for a Big Ten team to get in there and represent the Big Ten. If you're talking conferences, but as far as like, Nebraska players, I don't think they're gonna want Ohio State to win, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Still
Like, you don't-
competitive there.
yeah, you don't want someone to win, right?
What it is interesting too is that tonight, if Texas does lose, that will knock the South out. If you were not just the Southeastern Conference, but the South altogether out. Which between the SEC, Florida State, and Clemson have basically won every title outside of the Ohio State title in 2014, and now Michigan. Since around 2005, since Texas won. Which again, Texas, Oklahoma, you can start to consider the South too. But it could be a shift here with Ohio State or Notre Dame win. And coming off of Michigan now, some champions come out of the Midwest. Maybe is that NIL era related, or what do you see that change attributing to?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. I mean, if there's a shift going on right now, you have to relate it to NIL in some type of way. It revolves around it. I think even the flipping in programs so dramatically. The Boise State going from Boise State last year to all of a sudden, obviously Ashton Genty, that might be an anomaly, but go to Indiana. I mean, go to SMU, who pulled some guys from Miami, pulled some guys from here, right? But you contribute that, and think about this now. Think about this. We were talking about Ryan Day. We were talking about earlier this year. We were talking about Ryan Day. Is Ryan Day gonna get fired? Is Ryan Day gonna do this? Now, I mean, Michigan go ahead and beat them, right? And nobody, what's his face? Ryan Day and Ohio State, they win this game. Nobody gonna be talking about Ryan Day's job. They gonna be giving him a raise. He gonna be getting a cut of that $20 million. And even if let's say they win this game and get there and he loses, nobody's gonna be calling for his head no more. Obviously, you're gonna have to clean up that Michigan game at the end of the year, but I think it's awesome. And then on the flip side, Marcus Freeman with the Notre Dame thing, I'm talking like Ohio State's gonna win. But the Marcus Freeman situation, I'm sure some Notre Dame fans or people across the nation after that Northern Illinois loss, you're kind of like, hey, like, is this the right guy? You get him for, what's his name, Brian, the former head coach.
Brian Kelly. Yeah.
Brian Kelly, like, is this our guy, right? Like, does he fit the culture? Brian Kelly was a little bit more, I would say, what's the word? I guess, what's the political correct word? Formal, whatever, this. And, and Marcus Freeman has more swag to him, operates in a different way. He's a younger guy, relates to players. He's the guy, jumping up and down and doing all this. When a player makes a big play, he's high fiving, smacking them, doing all this stuff, right? Seems like a little bit more relational. You hear some of the speeches in the locker room, you're like, wow, this guy if this guy gets it right, this, and this, and I'm sure some doubt crept in after the loss, and then you go undefeated, and now you're like, this is our guy, right? So it's two, I would say it's 3 good stories. Obviously, you got the Texas story where it says Quinn Ewers get hurt midway through, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning's little brother comes in, puts the program on his shoulders for maybe, for not the hardest games of the year. Obviously, he came back before that Georgia game, and then they fall to Georgia, right? Not only once, but twice. And it's kind of like this thing where, Quinn Ewers has played okay, right? Maybe people thought he's going to play better than what he, you think about the Shedeur Sanders and, the Cam Wards, right? He goes on the cover of the college football playoff game or the college football game 25, and you're thinking like, this is going to be, Heisman, this, and this, and it just didn't pan out that way. But now you have a chance for Texas and Quinn Ewers and in company to really do something special here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough. I mean, it's going to be funny if the college football playoff does come down to Notre Dame and Texas, because that's probably number 1 and 2 for a lot of teams, a lot of fans' most hated teams. So they're going to have to pick a side there. But the Texas story, if I can put my bias aside, is still a cool one. And that it's a blue blood program, hasn't won since 2005, the national champion. ship hasn't really been in the mix, and now the first year in the SEC.
Yeah.
Certainly something to remember about this whole thing. It's crazy
That is true.
that there's so much in college football this is Texas' first year in the SEC, and we hardly even think about it.
Yeah, it's like you're right. There's so much. It's like, quarterback move here, player move here, new coach here. Because I feel like coaches are changing more and more now too. I mean, there's not as much of, this coach has been here for 12 years and 15 years. And like, back in the day, it's more so like, coach comes in here, doesn't get it done, doesn't adapt to the change, doesn't, this and this, new coach here. So I feel like there's stories in every game, obviously, but now because of portal, now because of NIL, now because of just the way the programs are, a bunch of changes happening. There's just new stories every game. So it's awesome to be able to talk about it and report on it for real.
Absolutely. We'll do more of that coming up next year on What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road. League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovoma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches, and our new hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all of the best-in-class equipment we've always had, with most clubs open 24 hours, so you can work out your way on your time. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 10th. See Home Club for details.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and so much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, we're back on What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. I'm Jake Buckman alongside your host, Chancellor Brewington, and we do have our final segment ready to roll for you. What is brewing in segment 3 here, Chancellor?
Yeah, so you got some names for some transfers. This is kind of the rough part of the portal, man, where you probably have to get out. Some guys are getting out because of the 105 cut downs, and you're not always going to end up at a Nebraska. And so obviously you got some names to read out real quick.
Yeah, Isaiah McMorris is landing at Missouri State. Sincere Sefuela lands at Tennessee State. So again, these are Nebraska transfers that maybe aren't landing on that Power 4 level, and in these cases not the FBS level.
Yeah, and that's the harsh reality of this just college football in general is, especially if you didn't really produce and had a bunch of production at the school that you're at, it's just going to be a tough landing spot. I believe Brody Tagovailoa, he dealt with some injuries here, but ended up at Sac State, and I think that's just kind of how this game works. Obviously, you wish him nothing but the best. But I mean, when people say, or when people wonder, like, how can you take that jump from this to this? Well, you got to understand the opposite's happening too. There's guys at FCS schools who are hitting the portal and obviously played somewhere, and those guys will get the shots. At bigger schools, we see that Jameer Khan, we see that Andrew Marshall, transfers coming into Nebraska. Another funny thing before we close out is, not funny, but it's interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall, but Bill Belichick is going and doing his his winter recruitment, just like every other coach, just like Rule and staff is doing as well, just like every coach in the nation is doing if they're not playing, obviously, tonight or next week in the championship game. They're going to recruiting. So Bill Belichick's, getting posted by all these players going to recruiting. What do you think the recruiting pitches are like for Bill Belichick? I mean, is he, obviously recruitment, you want the player to come to your school, so you kind of have to feed them. I wouldn't say BS, but sometimes it is BS. Sometimes it's, you fluff them up and whatever it is, you build them up. Do you think Bill Belichick is doing that?
It's hard for me to imagine Bill Belichick telling some kid he's going to change the program. So I think he's probably just a straight shooter. I mean, I'm sure he's just kind of telling him what it is. And it's probably good. I mean, Bill Belichick's not going to dress it up a whole lot, either probably in the recruiting trail or when you get to campus. So what you see is what you're going to get. And I think that at least in that, that can be refreshing even on recruiting trails, that sometimes for some kids, it always, that was kind of the Bo Pelini way. We're going back a few years now, but there's kind of different ways to recruit. And I think Mike Riley's was kind of more of a, hey, if I bring you in, you might change the program, or like really selling you on the future. And then I think Scott Frost was more like, hey, we've got the plan. We just need to fit you in here. Let's put you over, And so there's so many different ways to recruit, but I've got to imagine he's a straight shooter.
Yeah, I would. And you would think now, because I guess you just experience those people in life, like, the just different personalities, people that will, sugarcoat it and make you feel good. And some people are just straight shooters, going to tell you like it is, how it is, and what you need to do. Right. I think I personally would probably rather play for a Bill Belichick and rather be recruited by a Bill Belichick, because I want to know exactly what the deal is. I don't want you, there's these crazy recruiting pitches back where, coaches come to you and say, you got a chance to do this, X, Y, and Z. And you look at the person in your position, you're like, well, there's an All-American starting for your guys, and he has, 2 years left, right? And he's like, well, his grades and this, and this. And you're like, really? Like, come on. Like, just be real at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, if you're a true competitor, you want to compete. That's in your nature. That's in your makeup. And so I'm sure Bill Belichick is going to be going after those type of guys who want to compete and don't care about. Now, I would say don't care about, but or I should say do care about culture and want to work hard. Because one thing I've heard, of course, and it's been vocal. You hear the Edelman podcast, and you hear Tom Brady speak about it, Gronk speak about it. There's an even playing field with Belichick. There's, he treated Tom Brady the same way he treated, Edelman, the same way he treated, Mayo, and, all these different guys. Right. So I think there's a place for that in college football still. And I think that will probably be more effective, obviously. NIL, you got some maybe inflated egos, maybe, a little bit more of persona, this, and this. But, when you're playing for Bill Belichick, all that stuff, I think that goes out the window. I mean, and obviously, I think what happens in just human nature is we just get so comfortable with things and kind of forget the rich history behind things. So I think, let's say Bill Belichick coaches there for a few years. He's still going to be Bill Belichick to people, right? But you get within the program, maybe people don't see him like maybe I would see Bill Belichick, or you see Bill Belichick. There's some I'm trying to think of the word for it, but there's some like normalness that happens, just by being so comfortable with people. But yeah, no, I think those recruiting pitches would be hilarious with Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because the reports came out a couple of days ago that several NFL teams interested in Bill Belichick after he had taken the North Carolina job.
Yeah, and so I mean, do you want him or not? I mean, you had a chance to get him, and now you kind of maybe they read that 200-page Bible and they said, "Man, we need him.
Yeah,
we need him." I don't know though.
Well, I mean, if you're going through like the Bears, they're going through all these names. They go, all right, well, we got to talk to Vrabel. We're gonna call Pete Carroll.
Vrabel would be a nice addition. I think that would be nice.
Wherever
with the Bears,
yeah. But it's hard to go down that list and just say, yeah, Bill Belichick's probably not worth a call. I would think.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's like Michael Jordan's a free agent, a little past his prime, and you don't go and pick him up.
Yeah. There's got to be something there. So we had plenty of fun here on What's Brewing this week with Chancellor Brewington. We'll be back next week with a lot more answers to the questions that we have now, which is who's going to win these games tonight in NFL Wildcard Weekend. We will know Monday. We'll talk about it Monday. But On the Block coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket, and they know something too.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and so much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny.